I would like you to introduce my sister just a little bit. Her name is Angie Morphin, and her son was murdered by an illegal alien when he was 13 years old. I want you to hear what happened to my sister.
We gotta recall that
Good afternoon, fellow Americans. I would like to start by thanking you for giving me the opportunity to speak before you today, to stand strong in support of Arizona and Governor Jan Brewer for doing the right thing for America. My name is Angie Morphin Vargas. I come before you from Salinas, California, which likes to be known as the lettuce capital of the world. On December 29, 1990, my life was changed forever. My son Ruben, who had just turned 13, was murdered walking to my mother's home. I can still remember the phone call that no mother ever wants to receive. I could hear my mother screaming, "They've shot the niño, they've shot the niño, get to the hospital." There are no words to describe what a mother goes through. You're at a point from going insane. The whole night was a nightmare. They wouldn't let me see my baby. But finally, one of Ruben's uncles got to go in. But when he came out, he was shaking and crying. He pleaded with me not to go in, to remember Ruben the way he was. A few minutes later, my husband went in, and he also came out crying, begged me not to go in. Finally, the doctor came in and told me that Ruben was dying. They had just blown out half of his brain, but that if he lived, he would be a vegetable for the rest of his life. The doctor didn't think that he would make it through the night. I asked if I could see him. I had to see him. This was my baby they were talking about. As I walked in, I could see my baby on the table. His little body was hooked up to a machine. The doctor said the machine was the only thing keeping him alive and that they were going to turn it off. I asked if I could give him one last kiss before they turned the machine off. As I gave my son, my baby, his last kiss, the doctor turned the machine off and he died. It was almost a year before anyone knew anything about who killed my baby. Finally, we found out that the person that murdered Ruben wasn't from Salinas. He was from Huntington Park in Southern California. He was in town visiting family for the holidays. 2 hours before he killed my son, he was stopped by Salinas Police Department and let go. My son's killer fled the country. He was an illegal alien from Mexico. For the first time in my life, I was confused. I couldn't believe that my baby was killed by one of my own. Almost 4 years later, by the grace of God, my son's story was aired on America's Most Wanted. We got word that Ruben's murderer was in Jalisco. In the state of Jalisco, 2 special agents worked for the Foreign Prosecution Unit from San Diego, went into Mexico and put a warrant for his arrest. He is now serving 20 years for my son's death.